Most people think rich men are different because of money, but money is only the result. The real difference is psychology. The way rich men think, the way they react, the way they move through the world is completely different from the average person. Two people can wake up in the same city with the same 24 hours, yet one slowly builds power, freedom, and wealth, while the other stays trapped in survival for decades. Why? Because wealth begins in the mind long before it appears in the bank account. Rich men see the world differently. They think differently about time, about emotions, about risk, about discipline, about status, about failure. And once you understand their psychology, you begin to understand why some people rise while others remain stuck. This is not about luxury. This is about mental frameworks. Because before a man becomes financially rich, he first becomes psychologically different. Chapter 1. Rich men think long-term. Average people think about today. Rich men think about years. The average person asks, "What can make me feel good now?" The rich man asks, "What will matter 5 years from now?" That single difference changes everything. Most people sacrifice the future for temporary comfort. Rich men sacrifice temporary comfort for future freedom. While others spend, they invest. While others relax endlessly, they build skills. While others chase trends, they build systems. This is why patience is one of the most powerful psychological traits among wealthy men. They understand something most people never learn. Small, disciplined actions repeated consistently become massive results over time. Wealth is often boring in the beginning. Slow growth, silent progress, invisible discipline. But rich men trust delayed gratification because they know time multiplies everything. Chapter 2. They control their emotions. Most people are emotionally reactive. A bad day destroys their focus. Criticism destroys their confidence. Fear destroys their decisions. Rich men understand emotional control because emotions influence money. A man who cannot control his emotions will struggle to control his finances. Fear creates hesitation. Anger creates reckless decisions. Ego creates unnecessary spending. Wealthy men train themselves to stay calm under pressure, especially during chaos. While others panic, they think. While others react emotionally, they analyze logically. This emotional stability becomes a financial advantage because money rewards clarity, not emotional instability. This is why many wealthy men appear calm even during difficult situations. Their mind is trained not to collapse under pressure. Chapter 3. They value time more than money. Poor people often waste time to save money. Rich men spend money to save time because they understand something profound. Money can return. Time cannot. Every hour matters. This is why wealthy individuals become obsessed with efficiency. They avoid unnecessary drama, unnecessary meetings, unnecessary distractions. They protect their attention carefully because attention creates results. Most people spend years distracted by entertainment, gossip, and endless scrolling. Rich men understand that distraction is expensive. Every wasted hour is a lost opportunity. That is why disciplined focus becomes a superpower. Chapter 4. They understand the power of silence. The average person talks too much. They announce goals before achieving them. They seek validation from strangers. They explain every move publicly. Rich men move differently, silently, because power rarely needs attention. A wealthy man understands that announcing everything weakens focus. Silence creates mystery. Silence creates observation. Silence creates discipline. Many rich men listen more than they speak because information is valuable. Talking constantly prevents learning. This is why some of the wealthiest individuals in the world appear reserved. They are thinking strategically while others are seeking attention. Chapter 5. They see failure differently. Average people fear failure emotionally. Rich men study failure intellectually. To most people, failure feels like humiliation. To wealthy men, failure feels like feedback. That psychological difference changes everything. Every successful businessman has lost money before, made mistakes before, failed before. But rich men do not allow failure to define identity. Instead, they ask, "What can this teach me?" The average person quits after embarrassment. The wealthy man adapts. This ability to recover psychologically is one of the biggest hidden traits behind financial success, because wealth requires resilience, not perfection. Chapter 6. They detach from appearances. Most people want to look rich. Rich men want to become rich. There is a massive difference. The average person spends money for status, luxury clothes, expensive lifestyles, attention online. But wealthy men often think differently. They prioritize ownership over appearance, assets over validation. Many rich men understand that public image can become a trap, because trying to impress people is expensive. Psychologically weak men seek approval. Psychologically strong men seek freedom. This is why true wealth is often quiet. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful.
Chapter 7. They master delayed gratification. One of the strongest psychological traits of rich men is delayed gratification, the ability to suffer temporarily for future rewards. Most people struggle with this. They want instant pleasure, instant entertainment, instant success, instant results. But rich men understand that meaningful rewards take time. Building businesses takes time. Building investments takes time. Building skills takes time. So they train themselves to tolerate discomfort. While others quit early, they continue. This creates an enormous advantage over years, because consistency beats intensity. Chapter 8. They think in terms of value. Poor psychology focuses on price. Rich psychology focuses on value. The average person asks, "How much does it cost?" The wealthy person asks, "What can it produce?" This mindset affects everything. Books become investments. Skills become investments. Relationships become investments. Rich men constantly ask, "Will this increase my future value?" Because they understand income usually follows value creation. The more useful you become, the more opportunities appear. Chapter 9. They protect their mind. Wealthy men understand that environment affects psychology. Negative people drain focus. Drama drains energy. Chaos destroys clarity. This is why many successful individuals become selective with relationships. Not because they hate people, but because energy matters. A distracted mind struggles to build anything meaningful. Rich men often avoid constant negativity. They protect mental peace aggressively, because a calm, focused mind performs better financially. Chapter 10. They accept responsibility. One of the biggest psychological differences is responsibility. Average people blame. Rich men adapt, even when circumstances are unfair. Wealthy individuals focus on what they can control, because blaming feels emotionally satisfying, but responsibility creates results. A rich mindset says, "What can I do now?" That mentality creates action, and action changes reality. This does not mean life is always fair. It means responsibility is more useful than excuses. Chapter 11. They become comfortable with risk. Everything valuable contains uncertainty. Business, investing, leadership. Average people seek guaranteed comfort. Rich men learn calculated risk. Not reckless gambling, calculated risk. They understand that staying completely safe often leads to stagnation, so they train themselves psychologically to tolerate uncertainty. That is why many wealthy men appear fearless. Not because they feel no fear, but because they act despite fear.
Chapter 12. They build identity first. Wealth is easier to maintain when identity changes first. Most people try to force success externally while remaining mentally undisciplined internally. Rich men often develop wealthy habits before wealthy lifestyles. Discipline, consistency, strategic thinking, patience, because eventually, identity shapes behavior, and behavior shapes results. A man who sees himself as disciplined behaves differently. A man who sees himself as weak behaves differently. Psychology always leaks into action. At the center of wealth is psychology. The mind of a rich man is not built overnight. It is shaped through discipline, failure, patience, focus, sacrifice. Most people search for money without changing the mindset that keeps them broke. But wealth begins internally first, because before a man becomes rich financially, he usually becomes rich mentally. He learns emotional control, long-term thinking, delayed gratification, strategic silence, responsibility. And those traits slowly separate him from the crowd. In the end, money simply reveals who a person already is. A disciplined mind often creates wealth. A distracted mind often destroys it. The psychology always comes first. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius,